removed from the calendar today. Do you have that information?
I appreciate you telling me. Thank you so much.
So Judge Morrow, I think that was a conflict case, and Ms. Watson Cafe wanted to talk to you about that case.
I'm sorry, Mr. Jordan, say it again.
Position number 11 is a conflict case, and Attorney Watson Cafe wanted to talk to you about that case.
Okay.
She's attorney for today.
Okay, so she will be on this afternoon?
She will, Judge. So she's going to
Okay.
object to the case just being randomly removed from the calendar.
Okay, all right.
What's your name, sir?
My sound is muzzled. Is anybody else having a problem hearing?
I was having a bit of a problem hearing Mr. Jordan. Can everybody else hear all right?
I hear you loud and clear. Mr. Jordan was muzzled, but I just want to make sure everybody else can hear okay.
Oh, it might be my computer.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Ms. Bridgewater, the SAP reset date?
Yes, Your Honor, it's October the 3rd.
Okay, thank you. And courtroom 2, we are ready when you are.
Position number 4, Ms. Jello.
Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Geller. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm Ben Sessions from Ms. Gallo as well.
Afternoon, Mr. Sessions. I hope you're well.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you, sir.
Let's see, Ms. Gallo, you have been charged in case 23 CR 005609E with battery, family violence, and criminal trespass. I was told earlier by pre-trial that this is Ms. Gallo's first arrest. Afternoon, Mr. Pierre Thomas. Is this your case?
Yes, Your Honor, it's my case, Your Honor.
Okay, you can proceed.
Your Honor, the facts of the case are such that the defendant went to the according to the report, the defendant went to Atlanta United game and returned home intoxicated. The defendant then fell asleep in her car, to which the victim went to the car to try to get her to come inside. The defendant entered the residence irate and punched the victim in his face, causing his glasses to break, and she also slapped him to the side of his face. Officers arrived at the scene originally and observed visible scratches. The defendant at that time was not at the scene. Officers then left and then were called back to the scene from a possible suicide attempt call involving a weapon. The victim then stated to the officer that the defendant then returned to the home and told him that they would find her body at Ponce. And when she entered the home at that time, she entered the home and she began to walk around in her hand with a firearm. At that point, the victim then left the home. Officers were then called back to the home, obviously. And while the officers were on scene at the home the second time, the defendant then texts the victim that she was done with things and that he should let her family know that she loved them. Your Honor, we had the opportunity to speak to the victim. I think the victim is on the call, but as far as it relates to the bond, we would be asking for a $10,000 surety bond on the battery, given the presence of the firearm and the nature of the case, a $500 signature bond, SOB pretrial on the criminal trespass, a no drugs or alcohol provision, a no violent contact provision, and we would be requesting that the defendant be ordered to complete a family violence intervention program. Nothing further from the state. Your Honor, at this time, we'd like to sound for the victim.
Okay, Mr. Pierre Thomas, I need to know if there is the name of the victim, number 1, and number 2, if you're requesting a stay away, and if you are, where that would be from.
It would be contingent upon, Your Honor, it would be contingent upon statements that possibly made by the victim today. If the victim does not give a statement, there is absolutely a stay away that's being requested. The victim's name is Jeffrey, Jeffrey, Riles spelled Ryals. The incident location is said to have been 620 Cityscape Plaza, Northeast Atlanta. Looks like apartment number 620, Atlanta, Georgia, 30308.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Sessions, would you like for me to hear from Mr. Riles first, or would you like to present first?
If he is on the call, Your Honor, I would like for the court to hear from him.
Okay, I see him on here, Mr. Riles. If you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. I need for you to activate your camera and unmute yourself, and I'll have to swear you in.
Hey there, good afternoon. I'm sorry, I was trying to get to a spot where I could get some reception here.
Okay, yeah, get to a steady place for me, Mr. Riles.
2 seconds. All right, thank you for that.
You're welcome. Would you raise your right hand for the court? Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what would you like to tell the court, Mr. Riles?
I'd just like to say that, Jen Gella is an awesome person. There was an instance that took place. It was very unfortunate, but ever since it happened, she started going to AA meetings. She's got sponsors, she's been doing the right stuff. A lot of what happened was because of the alcohol. It's unfortunate, but she's a good person. She made a mistake and I don't hold it against her. It's unfortunate, but I don't hold it against her for what happened. She's a great mom of two sons. She really does care. She's never been in trouble. This has never happened between the two of us. I truly believe this never, ever going to happen again. So I just asked to take that into consideration.
And you live together at the Cityscape Plaza address?
Yes, we do. We still live together.
And this has not happened before?
No, sir.
And you're not afraid of her?
No, sir.
Okay, anything else that you'd like to tell me?
I think that's it for right now.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Mr. Sessions?
Your Honor, can I ask Mr. Riles? Mr. Riles, do you want her to continue to have contact with you and to continue to reside with you there?
Yes, I do.
Have you expressed that to the state prior to this hearing as well?
Yes, I have.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Sessions?
Yes, Your Honor. She has no prior history. She was not picked up on this warrant either, Your Honor. She was notified that there was a warrant that was outstanding for her. She voluntarily surrendered herself into the jail. So I think that singular fact shows that this person's going to abide by the conditions of a bond. If she's willing to show up there voluntarily and surrender herself into the jail without law enforcement having to come and get her. She's tried to get alcohol under control. We certainly would consent to no alcohol or drugs during the pendency of the case, Your Honor. That is no problem at all. In addition to that, any firearms that are hers, she absolutely will surrender those, remove those from the home. I think that's probably the best way to handle that. In terms of a $10,000 surety bond, I'm not sure how that advances the cause of her actually appearing and abiding by the terms and conditions of this. And we really want to make sure that that Mr. Riles and her children and her are all safe during the pendency of this. So we should make sure that she's not drinking and that she's getting treatment that she needs to during this time, Your Honor. So I'm asking for her to be released on an unsecured judicial release for her, Your Honor, and through pretrial services. I think she's an appropriate candidate for it. Thank you.
Okay. For the battery, it's a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. For the criminal trespass, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial makes for a total of a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial. 1 day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Mr. Riles, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Ms. Jella, good luck to you. You also, Mr. Riles.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Your Honor. Maybe excused today.
Yes, you all have a good
Thank you, sir.
afternoon. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Who do we have next?
Your Honor, we're going to go to position number 17, Ms. Sandra Seuss.
Okay. Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Sudi. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Sudi, you've been charged in case 23.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I didn't hear you. I didn't hear the name announced. Beth Schaefer, Miss Sudi. And so
Okay, good.
we've reviewed the charges. She waived formal reading and entered not guilty plea. The only issue would be as to bond. We are asking for a no violent contact provision. This is a family violence between currently married, but in the middle of a divorce couple, and they do have 2 minor children for which they need to be able to exercise visitation and custody.
Okay, let me just get through my initial opening so that I can at least know that everyone knows what she's charged with. In case 23 CR 005616Y, she's charged with battery family violence. It's my understanding from pretrial that this is Ms. Sudi's first arrest. Mr. White, is this your case?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. You can proceed.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Your Honor. So this case started at 3673 Randall Mill Road, Northwest Atlanta, Georgia, 30327. Just want to make that note for the record. The officer was called out to this address, and the officer spoke with the defendant first about what happened. Then the officer spoke with the husband, who stated that he and his wife was going through a divorce and they do share children. He stays in the main house and the wife stays in the pool house. He didn't want to, that's where she chose to stay. But he had a female friend over, and his wife barges in yelling and starts assaulting him in the main house. And the officer noticed scratches and bruises on him, and he didn't notice any scratches or bruises on the wife, who had stated that she was choked and assaulted as well. And afterwards, she was arrested without further incidents. So the state is recommending a $2,000 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, either no further contact or no further violent contact with the victim. And if we do get the no further contact, we'd also like to stay away from the address and 1-day anger awareness.
As the alleged victim, Mr. Hasudi?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Counsel, would you like for me to hear from Mr. Sudi first, or would you like to address the court first?
We can hear from Mr. Sudi first.
Okay. Mr. Sudi, if you would like to address the court, I'll need for you to raise your right hand for me. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, you can put your hand down. Thank you, sir. What would you like to tell the court?
I'm not currently afraid of my ex-wife being on the property. We have 2 houses on the property. I think it would be very difficult for our children if she were to find another place to have to be. I talked to the victim advocate about what the options were, and I don't think that would be good for our children, for her to be banned from the property. I think it would be okay if she remains at the guest house, but and I ran the main house like we had it before, but that she's meant to stay there and there's no contact except for maybe text messages or logistics with the children for interaction, but that we should only pick up and drop off the children at the school so that we don't have any further conflict in person. And my other concern is that that if we did have any other interactions, that she would create additional false accusations against me, because I didn't call the police in the first place. I wasn't trying to create another problem. I just want this to go away.
Okay. Anything further, sir?
No, I think as long as she can stay in the guest house, she can stay, and we can work out the custody thing with our divorce attorneys, and they can agree. Then I think she can stay in the guest house, which is on the same property, as long as she stays in there and that we have no contact.
Okay, I don't know what your home is like, or do you have a situation to where you don't have shared driveways? You don't, because if I order no further contact, then that means no contact whatsoever. Okay.
Correct.
So that means that you would have to go through a third party to deal with one another. Logistically speaking, I don't know, because I don't know your property, how you cannot see each other if you're staying on the same property and have the same driveway and have the same entrances and exits and things of that nature. So she would be in violation of a bond order if I said no further contact with you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
If
there
that-
are separate
if-
entrances,
sounds-
separate driveways, all these things.
Okay, but it sounds to me as if you're having some issues with having her around, that you don't want to have any contact with her. You're afraid of what she may say or do. You may get yourself into peril, is what I'm hearing. And it's very difficult for me to make a ruling and separate you when you're not actually separated or physically. So I understand. I understand what you're saying about your children and things of that nature. And I want to try to do the best I can for your children, but I want to do the best I can for you as the alleged victim in this case also. So why don't you think about that for a minute? I'm going to come back to you and I'm going to hear from your wife's counsel.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
Your Honor, I think the best solution is a no violent contact provision. I think what they may be able to do through the divorce is work out a temporary order as to the possession of the house. And at this point, the divorce has been proceeding since February and everything's been working by agreement. They have no orders in effect to be enforced one way or another. But if on a no contact, the problem's going to be, even if she wants to stay in the pool house or go there to pick up the kids, it's the same address. And I don't know how you do it a no contact if they're living at the same address, even if it's separate houses.
In agreement with you on that point. I think it'll be very easy for her to violate a no further contact order. But Mr. Sudi, if you're not comfortable with that, then I'm not going to order that. So it's going to be one way or the other. It's either going to be that you're not going to have any contact, or it's going to be no further violent contact, given your situation. What would your preference be, Mr. Sudi?
I'm not sure I understand the intricacies of both quite yet, but I would say no physical contact because of the nature of our homes, our driveways, our entrances and exits. As long as she doesn't cross the threshold of my house, and I won't cross the threshold of her house, and there's separate driveways for my house and for her house, I don't think there's any reason why we would be in physical contact with each other. I'm okay with electronic contact, and I'm okay with her being there and using those entrances and those driveways and so forth, and that house. So technically it's a separate address. It's 3673 A and B. So I'm okay with certain amounts of this.
And yours is 367B?
3673, technically 3673A and 3673B. They're
And
separate
are you
mailboxes on a shared mailbox.
Are you A or B?
A is the main house, B is the guest house.
Okay. Has this ever happened before?
No.
Are you afraid of her?
I'm afraid of what she might do, because this has never happened before, and this is now escalated in the last, because of the divorce, this has gotten worse and worse. So I don't know what will happen again. I would, before this incident, I would never have said she would do this.
Yes, counsel.
I mean, I think that what we can do is, if they want to limit communications to electronic communications or those communications necessary to effectuate visitation and custody with the children and to attend any court proceedings or any mediations involved with the divorce, we have to have those exceptions to contact, so that there can be electronic communication about the children, and then whatever they need to do for court or the attend court hearings or mediations for the divorce. If we can put in there a no, may not go to the 367A, But I think it would be important to specify in that order that she is allowed to be at the 367B. That would be helpful. But they will have to exchange children because they are very young. You can't just leave them somewhere and have the other parent. They're going to have kind of be in each other's presence to exchange visitation and custody of the children. I don't think they have anybody local to be the intermediary.
If I may, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
What we were trying to work out with our attorneys was that pickup and drop off only happens at school. So, for example, on a Friday, I would have the children from Friday after school until Monday morning when I drop them off, and then she might pick them up Monday afternoon after school until Thursday morning when she drops them off at school. So I don't believe there needs to be any direct physical presence where we are exchanging the children due to school and the offset of custody during the weekends.
Okay, I understand that, but this goes, that's a civil matter that you're trying to work out. This is a criminal matter where my biggest concern is that these allegations that you have against her, that they don't escalate and that they do not affect your children and that they do not affect you. So I'm trying to listen to everything that everyone's telling me, but I'm trying to take the best interest of everyone, especially you, since you are the alleged victim in the case, into account. I know, that it might be more difficult for you, but I would hate for something to happen down the line. Anything further, Ms. Joffrey?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, I am going to give her a signature bond since this is her first offense. So it's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, 1-day anger awareness. At this point in time, because of everything that I heard, I don't know if I can parcel this together. They'll have to modify the bond at a later time if necessary, but there can be no further contact at this time. They're going to have to work out their differences through a third party. There's to be third-party transfer of the minor children for visitations and for all other things associated with the children. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Okay.
Is she limited from the pool house, or is she just limited from the parcel A on the property?
She is limited from any kind of contact with Mr. Sudi. If she can remain in 3673B if there is no contact whatsoever. And I'm informed, I believe, by Mr. Sudi that can be accomplished given that there are two separate driveways. So I'm not going to keep her from her house. I will look at that like an apartment, so she can go back to where she is residing, but she can have no further contact directly with Mr. Sudi. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. I would suggest that you speak with your counsel later. You have a right to remain silent. Anything that you say can be used against you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Good luck. Good luck to all of you all.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
That
Yes.
completes my business. May I be excused?
Yes. Have a good afternoon.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you. You as well.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I'm just trying to see if Miss Watson Cafe is on. I was trying to get to the conflict cases.
Okay. Let's see. Miss Watson Cafe. I don't think I see her.
She's not on yet, Judge. She did say she had another hearing at 1:30, so she was gonna log on when she was done with that hearing.
Okay. So she's not with us as of yet.
All right, so we're gonna go to position number 2, Ms. Crowell.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Crowell. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Sure.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 23 CR 005612D with battery family violence. I was told by pretrial that this is Ms. Crowell's first arrest. Yes, Mr. White.
Yes, the officer was called out to 7350 Campbellton Road, apartment 1101, in reference to a fight. And when the officer arrived, Ms. Crowell and her mother, Kimberly Miles, had gotten into a fight at the apartment regarding an incident. Both had visibly bodily injuries, and both were charged with battery and family violence. So the state is going to recommend a $2,000 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. I think they stay together, so I'm not sure how this is going to work, but we'll see how they work it out. But no further violent contact, and 1 day anger awareness.
Okay, and Ms. Miles is on this calendar also today. Let's see, and who's representing Ms. Miles today? Miss Kimberly Miles.
It's gonna be Miss Watson Cafe, Your Honor.
Oh, that's Miss Watson Cafe. Okay, thank you. So this your case, Miss Abden?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you can proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. My client is 20 years old. She was born in Georgia. She's been living here her whole life. She grew up in Columbus, Georgia. She has a lot of family there, her brother, her cousins, and friends. Before this incident occurred, she was planning to move to Columbus to be closer to family and work there. And she did graduate from high school. She was working at Amazon. Like I mentioned, she recently quit so she can move and be closer to her other family members. It's my understanding that my client did live at the incident address. She told me that she was not the first aggressor. I don't believe that there were reports of a substantial injury to either party. And she is recommended through pretrial. So I'm going to request a signature bond through the jail. I do have an address and a phone number. She understands her obligation to return to court. She is qualified for representation from our office. And so, Your Honor, I'm requesting a signature bond.
So she doesn't have a problem with staying away from the Campbellton Road address. I can allow her to go back to that address on one occasion to retrieve any belongings, if that's what you're telling me, that she's going to move to Columbus.
Yes, Your Honor. So yeah, one-time
Okay.
law enforcement would be great. Stay away is fine. Also, no further contact. She has no objection to.
Okay, so it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the 7350 Campbellton Road, 1101 address. She can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that she might have there. No further contact with Kimberly Miles, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. All right, good luck to you, Mr. Colwell. Ms. Colwell.
Next, we're gonna go to position number 3, Ms. Derico.
Good afternoon, Ms. Derico. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, hey, how you doing, Judge?
I'm fine. I hope you are as well, Ms. Derico. You've been charged in case 23 CR 005604B with simple battery against a person who's 65 years old or older, or who was pregnant at the time of the offense. I've been told by pretrial that this is Ms. Derico's first offense. Yes, Ms. Riddick, is this your case?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your Honor, this incident is alleged to have happened on August 18th, 2023. Officers were dispatched to the location of 2890 Springdale Road Southwest in Atlanta in regards to a domestic dispute between a grandmother and her grandchild. The victim is Miss Karen White, who is currently 66 years old. She was in her home when her granddaughter, Miss Lamaya Derico, showed up and was upset with her regarding some statements she had made about Miss Derico's significant other. Mr. Derico came into the residence without authorization, began yelling at Miss White. The victim, Miss White, asked the defendant to leave, to which the defendant refused. They went further into the apartment. Miss White tried to stop her. When that occurred, the defendant hit Miss White in her face with a hand in front of 2 minor children. And so, Your Honor, warrants were taken out. And at this time, Your Honor, we would respectfully request a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial services level 2. No further contact with Miss White. Anger management class, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Stay away from the incident location of 2891 Springdale Road, Southwest in Atlanta.
Okay, Ms. White, I see you on there. If you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. You do not have to, but if you would like to address the court, I need for you to raise your right hand for me. Hear me, Ms. White? I don't believe, although I see Ms. White there, I don't believe that she can hear us. Ms. Abden?
Thank you, Your Honor. My client is 24 years old. She was born in Georgia. She's lived here her whole life. She graduated from high school. She attended some college. She was studying healthcare management and business administration. She is planning to go back to school and finish up her degree. She does deny the allegations. She tells me that she removed herself from the situation. They were in a verbal argument, and because it was escalating, she left the house, and she had no idea that a warrant was taken out. The incident did occur a month ago. She does not have any issue with no further contact or stay away. And this is her first arrest. She also has a 3-year-old daughter. She's her primary caretaker, and she is also the primary breadwinner. So I would ask Your Honor to consider a signature bond through the jail, which is less restrictive.
Okay. It will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Karen White, stay away from the Springdale Road address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Derrico.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 7, Ms. Maga. Maga. Is it Maga? Maga. I apologize.
Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Mag. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Good afternoon, yes.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Thank you. You've been charged in case 23 CR 005603Y with disorderly conduct and simple assault, family violence. Can you give me the history, Mr. Howard?
Got 13 total. Last arrest was 2022, terroristic threats. That's open in state court. Got an open ag assault. That's open in superior court. Simple battery, family violence. That's also open in state court. And a 2013 ag assault arrest out of Illinois.
Ms. Reddick?
Good morning, Your Honor. This incident is alleged to have occurred on September 18, 2023. Officers were dispatched to the location of 1055 Ali Circle Northwest in Atlanta. They were sent there because the defendant had placed a call advising that her minor child, Jamarian Peoples, was missing. Upon arrival, officers found that Mr. Peoples was in fact on the scene, and the defendant appeared to be under the influence of alcohol based on her slurred speech and the odor of alcohol coming from her presence. When officers attempted to speak with her, the defendant began yelling profanity at her 12-year-old son. Officers tried to calm her down, and she proceeded to move closer and close the distance between herself and her 12-year-old son, pointing fingers at his head and yelling in his face as if she wanted to physically harm him. Officers asked the juvenile whether or not he felt comfortable remaining on scene with the defendant. The juvenile responded, "No, she will kill me." Ms. Maga, the defendant, advised officers that they just need to take her into custody because she was tired of dealing with her son. When they attempted to place her in the back of the police vehicle, she began to become non-compliant and threatened officers with harm. At this time, Your Honor, we are respectfully requesting that she receive a $5,000 bond on disorderly conduct, a $5,000 bond on simple assault family violence. The victim, Mr. Peoples, has been placed in the custody of another parent at this time. So we would ask that there be a stay away from him, stay away from the incident location, an anger management class, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Ms. Abden?
Thank you, Your Honor. Without going too much into the facts, it's my understanding that my client's child, who's 12 years old, does have a disability, and he has a tendency of running away. And my client was concerned about he was having an episode, and she called the police to get some help. She told me that she was in a state of panic, and that is why she was acting the way she was acting. It's also my understanding that he was placed in the custody of her husband, and he ran away. They don't really know where he is right now. She's very concerned. She also has a 7-month-old child, a 9-year-old child, a 4-year-old child, and a 5-year-old child. She is a stay-at-home mom. She's their primary caretaker. Her husband is also disabled. He's unable to walk and go find the child. And so, Your Honor, I'm asking for a signature bond. She's unable to afford any bond at this time, and it's really important that she gets back to her children and finds her child. As I've stated, this was a misunderstanding, and she does have ties to the community, and I would ask Your Honor to consider a signature bond through pretrial.
Your Honor, before you pass your ruling, we have been advised that the young man is with his stepfather, Mr. Milas, and he is online. Gildas, Gildas.
Yeah, we can
Mag-
sound for him.
He is on and he would like to be heard.
That would be great.
Okay. And as I'm hearing from him, Ms. Reddick, I would like for you to, the thing that complicates this matter, Ms. Abden, is that she has 2 open cases of a similar nature in this jurisdiction. Ms. Reddick, if you could locate the bond orders for me in those 2 open cases, I'd appreciate it. So that I can know about those. So if Mr. Gildas Maga would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. I will need for you to unmute yourself, activate your camera, and I'll have to swear you in. Mr. Gildas Maga. So either he cannot hear the court or he does not wish to address the court.
Hello?
Mr. Maga? Yes.
Yes. Yes, I've been trying to unlock my camera,
Wait a
but
moment.
it's not working.
Sir, okay, okay.
Yes.
All right, so you can't activate your camera?
Yes or no? I could not.
Okay, I'll need for you to activate your camera to address the court, sir.
Yeah,
So-
I'm trying. Yeah,
Oh,
there you go.
There you go. Okay. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, you can put your hand down. Thank you, sir. What would you like to tell me?
Yes or no? My stepson, Jamarin Peebles, has a behavior mental issue. So he has been running away for like every couple of days, and then she has to call me all the time to go looking for him in the area. So I have to drive for hours, and sometimes I find them inside some people who does drugs up the streets. Sometimes I have to find him on street just like walking and playing with and then I have to convince him to come home to his mother all the time. She has been trying to she put him to a lot of programs like apartment center. She put him to some other therapies that I'm not sure the name of it. So she been trying to help her son, but her son has she has a lot of issue that she trying to, she try her best to help her son. And I believe she do the best that she always can do for her son. She always put herself before her son. And I'm always with her, try to help her, when she asked me to come over to help her from him, or to help her to, to calm down and extra. And about 2 weeks ago, in her house, he broke all the door, all the glass on the windows, the doors, the TVs, if he flipped down the appliance in the kitchen, microwave, the thing that you cook on them, he flipped them down. The house was total mess, and still is, because what he did. And there is a police report. And about her case that was mentioned, that was a misunderstanding between me and my wife, and I was the victim on that case that the DA just mentioned. My wife never hurt me or never do any harm to me. She has always been the best mother to my children. And this time, I'm paralyzed. I've been shot. I'm paralyzed. And I mean, she has always been a great mother that I know. So I don't think she's not a danger to her kids. I think she's kind of mother who protect her kids by any means. That's her nature. Like her nature is like a mother who is ready to protect her kids by any means.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mag. I appreciate what you told me.
And Your Honor, if you could, you can give her please give her a signature bond so she can, come out and try to. I have spoke also with the Department of Child Services that I met with yesterday, and then I called again today. And I believe is best for. I believe it would be great that she has some signature bonds.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Maga.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Riddick?
Yes, Your Honor. She has, in fact, has 3 open cases. The first one is 21 CR 002682 Wise and Yellow. That's a simple battery case. On that case, Your Honor, she is on a $5,000 pretrial bond, and she has been ordered to not have any further contact with the victim of Selemu Demessi, SELAMU DEMISSEI. The second open case against this young lady is 22 CR 000476Y. That is the terroristic threats case, Your Honor. In that case, she has a $7,000 good bond, and she was advised to have no further violent contact with Mr. Gladys Maga. The third case, Your Honor, is 23 SC 186066. That, in fact, is an aggravated assault out of Fulton County, and she is on a $10,000 straight bond and was told to not have any contact with Mr. Gladys Maga.
Your Honor, I just want to point out, so it's my understanding they don't reside in the same home. They do have children together, and the child in question that I mentioned that we don't really know where he is not Mr. Maga's biological child.
Mr. Maga, is the child currently with you?
I just found them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your Honor,
All right, so give,
go ahead.
you might be talking me out of what I'm gonna do, Miss Abden, so you can go ahead if you want to.
No, I'll let you go. I apologize.
Yes, Mr. Maga, anything further?
Yeah. Yes, Your Honor. What I would like to say, I believe, I mean, like there is a police report, there is a hospital report that I was trying to get earlier before the court, and they said that they will email to me that I still don't have it yet. I believe the last time when he went to, I believe the last time when he went to.
It seemed like he
just dropped off, Judge.
Dropped off. Okay. So let me just address this to Mr. Miller, Magda. It is not the ruling of this court that you not have any contact with Mr. Maga. It's the ruling of another court. So let me just warn you that no contact means absolutely no contact. No phone, because that could get you into trouble, okay? No phone contact.
No violent contact.
Okay, unless it's been modified, Ms. Reddick, do you have that bond order?
I do. So she has 2 cases with him. Her terroristic threats with him says no violent contact. Her aggravated assault with him says no contact.
Okay, so no contact means no contact. And if you're found to be in violation of that, they could withdraw that bond. As far as what I've heard today, as this matter goes, for the disorderly conduct, it's going to be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge. For the simple assault, a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge. Makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge. No further violent contact with the minor 12-year-old child, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. I'm going to give you the opportunity, Ms. Magda, because of everything that I've heard today, and because I know that you're having some issues with your son. Ms. Abden, if possible, I would also like there to be a social worker visit to see if she can get some assistance with what she's going through. Okay.
Absolutely. And Your Honor, can we also just get a third-party transfer so she can get her kid back without violating the other no further contact order?
Yes, there can be a third-party transfer of the minor child.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And just so you dropped off, Mr. Magda, Mr. Maga, excuse me. So let me tell you.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, so let me just say what I just said to Ms. Magda, that right now there is in place from another court, not this court, that you're to have no further contact with her. No further contact means no contact whatsoever. You have to go through a third party for any type of contact with her. Otherwise, you'll be in violation of that order, and she will be. They may revoke that bond if you have any contact with her. So you all need to take that into consideration as you move forward. All right. Good luck to all of you all.
Did she, Your Honor?
I gave her a signature bond, Mr. Maga.
Mr. Maga,
Okay,
I can put my number in the chat. You can call me after court if you have any questions.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. All right.
Your Honor, I see that Ms. Watson Cafe is on. Can we go back to question number 8, Ms. Kimberly Mao?
Okay. Let's see, are you with me, with Ms. Watson Cafe?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Let's see, Ms. Miles, good afternoon. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 23 CR 005613D with battery family violence. This is also, it's my understanding, from pretrial Miss Miles's first arrest, and this also has to do with position number 2, Miss Crowell. Let's see, anything that you would like to add to the facts, Mr. White?
No, same thing I said last time. We're just gonna recommend that the bond is a $2,000 surety bond. No drugs, alcohol, or weapon, and no further contact with the victim. 1-day anger awareness. That'll be all from the state.
Okay, Ms. Watson Cafe, I have already heard the facts of this case previously, given that are you with me, Ms. Watson Cafe? I'm not sure if you're frozen or not.
I am. I'm having a
Okay.
difficult time hearing though. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Okay, no, you're fine. Just let me know if you can't hear me, because I have already heard the facts of the case. It was my inclination to give your client a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial. That she's to have no further contact with Ms. Crowell, which I've ordered Ms. Crowell not to have any further contact with her. Ms. Crowell is also not to come back to the Campbellton Road address, as I understand that that's Ms. Miles's address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Does that suit you, Ms. Watson Cafe?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, then that's what it will be. Good luck to you, Ms. Miles.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, what was that bond? I apologize.
No, you're fine. A $2,000 signature bond through pretrial.
Thank you. Next, we're gonna go to position number 11, Ms. Overlook.
Okay, and I have that there's an issue regarding Ms. Overlook. Is that right?
Yes,
I would like to move forward. I spoke to her earlier, Your Honor. I would like to move forward. I don't know what the issue is. I wasn't aware of any issue.
I mean, we have a
Other
breakout
than,
room, Your Honor.
Mr. Jordan telling me that the state may be looking for a continuance.
Okay, and is there, what's the need for a breakout room?
To discuss the basis outside of being on YouTube, Your Honor.
And well, this is an open forum. Normally, it's the solicitor's office who doesn't want to go off of the YouTube. So give me a little bit of why we need to. Is there an MH issue?
Not that I'm aware of. There was an error on the part of the solicitor's office now.
Okay, well, I don't know why that's not a public. I don't know what is private about that.
But there's nothing, Your Honor. We're asking for continuance because we made a mistake this morning, and we have been working with the clerk's office to try to rectify the mistake. They're telling us that it can't be rectified. It could not have been rectified before we got in here today. We were told before court started that she had been removed from the calendar, which is the announcement I initially made to Your Honor, that she was removed from the calendar.
I'm not going to make somebody stay in jail simply because of somebody else's mistake. This lady is sitting in jail, which is a place that none of us would want to be, I would imagine. And so I'm not going to put her off if we can deal with her today. You want to tell me what the mistake is?
No, actually, I don't want to share that on YouTube, Your Honor. So the state would be asking for a $25,000 bond. I can provide the court with some very loose facts of the case. This incident relates to have occurred.
Well, I'm going to hear the case. So you provide me with whatever you want to provide me with so that you can make a case for why you would want a $25,000 good bond on a first time arrest on a battery family violence.
Okay, so this incident is alleged to have occurred on September 17, 2023 at 10:20 p.m. Incident location is 4660 Sun Ridge Trail, Fairburn, Georgia. The alleged victim is a Miss Precious Murphy. Miss Murphy had a minor child. The allegation is that Jasmina Overlook said some very disparaging words to this minor child. When Miss Murphy approached her to address her behavior, Miss Murphy was assaulted by Jasmina Overlook and her mother, Yasmin Overstreet. It was a brawl And ultimately, Miss Precious Murphy died. And so that's why we're asking for a $25,000 good bond, Your Honor.
Yes, Ms. Watson Cafe.
We are asking for a signature bond on this case. We vehemently contest that her death had anything to do with my client. With respect to the Ayala factors, Your Honor, it's my understanding that she doesn't have any history. She is 18 years old. She's currently in high school. This incident occurred at a halfway home that her and her family are currently residing at. She does not have any income whatsoever because she is a full-time high school student. She does have I asked her if she had a place to stay, if she and her mom and younger siblings would be required to stay away from the boarding house, and she indicated that she does. She can relocate with her aunt who resides in Lithonia. She did give me an address for that. My apologies, Your Honor. She is a lifetime resident of Georgia. She doesn't have any resources to go anywhere. There's no evidence that she would not appear as required by the court, and I don't believe that there's any evidence that she would offend while out on bond. For all of those reasons, Your Honor, I believe that an appropriate bond in this matter would be a signature bond, a stay away from the. I believe they have alleged more than one victim, so a stay away from any alleged victims in this case, and a stay away from the incident location would be sufficient. Again, she would continue and at her high school to attend classes, and she looks forward to putting forth an aggressive defense in this matter, Your Honor.
Ms. Watson Cafe, what do you have a name? Can you get a name? Because she's 18
For her
years
aunt?
old. Yes, a name and an
Calvinette.
address.
Yeah, Calvinette. That's CALVINETTE. Last name is Overstreet.
And you will, do you have the address for Ms. Overstreet that you can put in the chat?
I do. It's the Lithonia. Is Miss Overstreet? Where is she? I lost her. Can we unmute her for a second?
Where is Miss Overstreet? Is she on?
I think that's her shaking her head, Your Honor. In courtroom 2. Miss Overstreet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were speaking of the aunt.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Not the. No, I was just wanting to confirm. It's the Lithonia address, correct? Your aunt.
You're on mute, courtroom. Okay, go ahead.
Yes,
Is it Overlook or Overstreet, Miss Watson Cafe?
I think they have accused her under the wrong name. Her name is Overstreet.
We also have an alias for her of Jasmine Overstreet, Your Honor.
Okay, so her name is Overstreet.
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead, Miss Watson Cafe.
I have the address. I can either put it on the record, Your Honor, or I can put it in the chat.
Put it in the chat, please.
Okay.
Your Honor, if I may, if you are considering giving this young lady a pretrial services bond, we would ask for it to be pretrial services ISP with a curfew.
Okay. And what would you like the curfew to be?
I would say 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And the only place she can go is to school and to medical appointments and to meet with her attorney.
Before you grant that, Your Honor, the location is about an hour from her school. I just want to make sure that that's not going to interfere with her ability to get to and from school. My understanding is that her aunt will be driving her to and from school. So I would want to make sure the school doesn't start at 7 and she can't leave the house till 6.
Okay.
30.
I don't know. I just want to confirm so that she's not setting herself up for failure.
All right, anything further from either party prior to my making a ruling?
Not at this time from the state, Your Honor.
Nothing from defense, Your Honor.
Okay, it's going to be a $10,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge. Let's see, she needs, given that she's 18, she will need to be signed out by Ms. Calvinette Overstreet. You'll have to inform Ms. Overstreet, Ms. Watson Cafe, that she's going to need to bring with her identification and a utility bill. She is to have a curfew. She's to be in by 9 p.m. and she cannot leave again until 5 a.m. She can go to school, medical appointments. If she has a job, to a job. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Stay away from the incident location and no further contact with the alleged victim.
Your Honor, what level is her bond through pretrial services?
I'm going to send her through the general level. That's level 1.
Your Honor, she wants to ask a question about the conditions.
Ms. Watson Cafe?
What is it? What's the question? I'm nervous.
No, I'm just asking, because I got, money, but I don't have enough to provide.
Oh, you have a signature bond. I'll talk to you later about it. You have a signature bond.
Money for that. I'm saying my siblings they gotta go to school. My sister has a strict.
I understand. That's not related to this, Miss. Trust me, please. It's not related to this bond. I will talk to you about it. The conditions that the judge has gone over is what we discussed during our initial meeting. But I'll discuss everything with your siblings and your aunt outside of this hearing.
Your Honor, I have a question. Is the co-signer Calvinette Overstreet?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Spirit water?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right, good luck to you all. Do you have any other cases, Ms. Watson Cafe?
I did not, but I'm just putting the information in the chat for you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you so much. Who do we have next?
Next, Your Honor, we're going to go to the top of the calendar. It's going to be position number 1, Mr. Asbury.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Asbury. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 23 CR 005606J with criminal trespass and damage to property. Can you give me the history, Mr. Howard?
This is 4th arrest. He got an open case out of Coweta County. Possession of a Schedule 1 controlled substance, possession of a firearm or knife during the commission. He had a 2022 terrorist threats that was dismissed. 2014 suspended license, NOD.
Yes, Mr. Pierre Thomas.
You know, this is a situation that arises out of the victim was in her home. She was asleep. She was awoken to 2 of her sons alerting her that there was something going on with her vehicle. and that they observed the defendant running away from her vehicle. The victim then went outside to discover that her vehicle was jacked up and that the rear passenger wheel was completely off the vehicle. The victim advised that there had been some issues in the past between her and the defendant. I believe the victim is on the call today, but Your Honor, the incident location for your edification is 1644 Sandtown Road, Southwest Atlanta, Georgia, in Fulton County, Georgia, 30311. And the victim's name is Rachel, Rachael Dampier, Dampier. And the official recommendation from the state, Your Honor, is a $2,000 surety bond, given the criminal history in the open case, and that there be a no contact and a stay away from that location, Your Honor. Nothing further from the state, and at this time, I'd just like to sound for the victim.
If Rachel Dampier is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Does not appear so. Ms. Abden?
Thank you, Your Honor. My client is 30 years old. He was born in Georgia, has lived here his whole life. He graduated from high school. He attended some college at Morehouse and Savannah State University. He was studying civil engineering. He currently owns his own business. It's a lawn care business, and he has 4 children, 2 of which are living with him. They are 8 years old and 1 year old. He is the primary caretaker. He's a single dad. He is the primary breadwinner for his 2 children. He tells me that his mom is currently taking care of the kids, and she is in danger of losing her job because she can't keep missing work. The address, he does not have any objection to stay away, no further contact. It's my understanding that the complaining witness is his brother's ex-girlfriend. He is not even familiar with this address, and Your Honor, he doesn't have the time to do this. He firmly denies these allegations, and I would ask Your Honor to consider a signature bond, and that is all.
And Your Honor, I thought that the victim would flesh this out, but I just want to make the court aware in terms of the familiarity between the 2 parties. As she stated, that this is the brother's ex-girlfriend. 2 days prior to the incident, the brother actually shot at the victim. He's currently on a no bond for that. But during this incident, the victim then discovered that the defendant and her ex-boyfriend, the brother, showed up in an effort to tamper with her vehicle. And so there is a relationship there. And he's
Your Honor, these are mere allegations that are not before us today, and he firmly denies these allegations. It's my understanding that this is a conflict between the ex-girlfriend and his brother. Like I've stated, he has a full-time job. He has 2 young kids to take care of, and he firmly denies these allegations. And Your Honor, I would ask you to consider a signature bond in light of all that information.
All right, it's going to be a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial. No further contact with Ms. Dampier. Stay away from the Sandtown Road address. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Asbury.
That's per judge.
Per judge.
Okay. Next, Your Honor, we got position number 5, Mr. Rashad Head.
Good afternoon, Mr. Head. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Head, you've been charged in case 23 CR 005614F with battery family violence. I've been told by pretrial that this is Mr. Head's first arrest. Mr. White?
Yes, Your Honor. The officer reviewed the body cam over the arresting officer, and the victim, Rakita Head, who stated that she and her brother got into an argument in which he pushed her to the ground, which inflicted a visible bodily injury to her. The brother left before the officer arrived, but she did identify her brother through his Georgia ID. She also stated that they lived together. So the state is recommending a $2,000 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no further contact, or no further violent contact, depending on how we work that out as far as their living conditions. If he is to stay away, as far as no further contact, we're going to ask for a stay away from the address and 1-day anger awareness. That'll be all from the state.
Okay. Have you spoken, has your office spoken with Rakita Head?
Your Honor, she's on the call and she would like to be heard. if
Okay,
possible.
thank you. Is this her on the iPhone too, Ms. Head?
Yes, this is me.
Okay, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what would you like to tell me?
I had wrote something down. I wanted to read it, but I was saying, good afternoon. This was a big, honestly, big mistake. There was no violence for me and my brother. This is kind of something new to me. My brother's not that type of person. It was just a sibling fight. Like if y'all had siblings, we all done been there with our siblings. It wasn't a big fight. I didn't have no type of things on my arm, nothing, no black eye, no nothing, no broken bones, no nothing. My brother is not that type of person. My brother don't smoke, drink, nothing. He's honestly the guy, a good ass person. I mean, my fault, a good person. I'm sorry. He's getting ready to start his real estate classes. He got his own house, a nice car for 19, going on 20 years old. Our birthday is literally Monday. We're twins. We're same mama, same daddy. I hate that I'm taking this away from him over something so little. I didn't even think it would get this far because I talked to the officer. He sat there and stand in my kitchen and had a long talk with me and told me not to press the issue. And that's what I told him. I didn't want to press the issue because it's not a fight. It wasn't a big brawl. It wasn't nothing. I didn't think it would get this far. I never felt threatened against my own sibling. I didn't think that, he would press the issue. A couple hours later, after that incident, me and my twin brother was talking like nothing happened. We just woke up on the wrong side of the bed that morning. We don't even fight. Me and my brother have not stayed in the same house. I've been staying with my dad. I just came over here. So me and my brother don't stay in the same house. And now he has his own house and I have my own apartment in his name. Maybe woke up on the wrong side of bed. Me and my brother's like best friends, same mama, same daddy. If I knew that the opposite took it farther than this, I would have stopped it before it got so deep. And I wish that, I was in the position that my brother was in and not that he's in this position. Because my brother don't do nothing. He's not that, we're like this, literally. Like, I hate that this even going on. You can tell my sister when I found out that he was in jail, I literally broke down cussing and going off. I didn't even, and then to find out that I'm the reason why he's in jail, I'm literally about to cry.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Head. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Okay. Ms. Abden?
Thank you, Your Honor. So as you've heard from his sister, the complaining witness, she doesn't fear him. They're very close, obviously. This incident did take place allegedly in February. So there's been a very long time since, it did occur. They don't live in the same house. He has very strong ties. His family is very close. Actually, his mom and I think 3 of his siblings or 4 of his siblings are on the call to show their support. He is 19 years old. As you've heard, he is gainfully employed. And because of that, I'm requesting a signature bond through the jail. And if Your Honor is inclined to do a signature bond through pretrial, that the cosigner requirement be waived.
It's going to be $2,000 signature bond. No violent contact, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Judge,
Good
will
luck
you
to you.
repeat that? You're breaking up real bad.
$2,000 signature bond through the jail. No further violent contact with the alleged victim No drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Okay, was that 10 or 3? You still breaking up?
It's 2.
It's
2.
2.
Okay, so I was altogether wrong. Through the jail. Okay, thank you.
You're
Am I
welcome.
breaking up with everyone? I'm sorry. I just want to.
You were, but now you're fine.
You're
All right.
fine, John.
All right, thank you. All right, who do we have next?
Next, we have position number 6, Mr. Demetrius Kilps.
Good afternoon, Mr. Kelps. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? Mr. Kelps?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, you've been charged in case 23 CR 005618Y with battery family violence. It's my understanding that this is Mr. Kelps's first arrest. Mr. White?
Yes, sir. In this case, Officer Gonzalez responded to the call of Maria Kilps. When she arrived on the scene, Maria informed her that she and her husband, the defendant, Demetrius Kilps, had an argument earlier in the day. And during that argument, Mr. Kilps punched her in the face with a closed fist, and the officer noted the bruising on her face. I think they share a child. I'm not sure how the way they wrote it up. I couldn't really tell if it's her child as well, but for sure it's his child. And the offense took place at 1208 Jefferson Court, Alpharetta, Georgia. And this court, the state is asking for $2,000 surety bond, no drugs, alcohol, weapons, no further violent contact with the victim, and a 1-day anger awareness. That'll be all from the state.
Who's representing Mr. Kelps?
That is me, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Kim?
Yes. My client is 46. Sorry about that. My client is 46 years old, Your Honor, and indeed, they are kind of going through a hard time right now. They have been separated quite a bit, even though she stays there. He claims that this house was separate property where he has been leasing for 10 years. So as soon as his wife moves out, he would like to return home. And they do have 2 children. However, none of them is with her, if I remember correctly. And he was born in country in Northern Europe, Latvia. However, he has been here in Georgia for the last 10 years as a US citizen. He's gainfully employed at NCR Inc., one of the largest company. He is working as a security architect. He's been doing that for the last 6 years after graduating from high school. So he will not be qualified for public defender services. And this will be only for the bond hearing that we will be representing him. And Your Honor, we would like to request for a signature on bond since this is his first one. He is okay with no further contact, and stay away until she moves out. Thank you.
You know, at this time, the state would also like to sound for the victim.
If Miss Maria Kelps is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so.
Your Honor, this
Yes,
is.
sir, I'm here. And my
Yes.
translator.
I'm sorry, I see 2 people, Maria Shuki. Are you Maria Kelps also, ma'am?
Yes. Yes, I
Okay.
am.
All right, can you raise your right hand for me?
Yeah,
But you
and
need to
here
follow
is
it
my
Your Honor,
translator.
for one moment, please. This young lady
Yeah,
requires an
sorry.
interpreter, and Lola is the Russian interpreter for her.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, Madam Interpreter, can you come on screen with me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. If you can raise your right hand, Madam Interpreter, do you swear or affirm that you will translate from Russian to English and English to Russian to the best of your ability?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you. And if you can, Ms. Maria Shuki, do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Мария, вы клянетесь о том, что то, что будет, ваши показания будете подавать сегодня, они будут правда, ничего кроме правды и только одна правда?
Yes, I do.
What would you can put your hand down, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court?
Что вы хотите сказать суду сегодня?
Я хочу сказать, что я согласна с условиями, которые предлагает суд, но также мне некуда съехать. Как можно...
Маш, подожди. I agree with the conditions that the court has put forward, but I also have an issue with my residence. I don't know. I have no place to move out of the house.
Okay. And you all are currently living together, is that correct, Ms. Shuki?
На сегодняшний день проживаете вместе сегодня, это правда?
Да, да. Не
Yes.
проживаем вместе. Нет, подожди, не проживаем вместе. Я не услышала.
Проживаете ли вы вместе сегодня, на сегодняшний день?
Да, да, с его дочерью, да. С ним и с его
That's
дочерью.
correct. With his daughter,
And-
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and would you not like him to return? You would not like him to return to the residence at this time, is that right?
И вы не хотите, чтобы он возвращался домой? Это так?
Я не хочу. Да, я не хочу.
No, I don't want to. Yes.
Okay. Anything further, ma'am?
Что-нибудь еще вы хотите добавить?
Я бы хотела попросить, если это возможно, какую-то терапию или поддержку для его дочери.
I would like to request, if it's possible, to provide some therapy, some support for his daughter.
Okay, this is just a bond hearing today, ma'am.
Сегодня это просто слушание относительно залога.
Ага.
Okay, anything further, ma'am?
Что-нибудь еще?
Так, что мне еще добавить? Но если он не вернется и у него не будет контакта со мной, то меня это очень устраивает.
If he doesn't come back and has no contact with me, then I'm okay with that. I'm good. That works for me.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Спасибо большое.
Ms. Kim, anything further?
Yes, my client is actually planning to file for dispossessory action to obtain the writ of possession, so that way he can evict his current wife.
Okay, anything further as far as this bond goes? I mean, that's.
Nope. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. And Mr. Kipps, Ms. Kim, he does not require an interpreter, is that right?
Right, Your Honor. He is fluent in English.
Okay. It's going to be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial, 1 day anger awareness, no further contact with Maria Kelps or Shuki. Stay away from the 1208 Jefferson address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there. Third-party transfer of any minor children. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
How much is that?
2,000.
Joanna, would you allow the interpreter to translate?
Yes.
Залог выходит по $2000, никакого контакта с Марией, чтобы не находиться от территории проживания 1508 Джефферсон от этого адреса, и чтобы третья сторона могла транспортировать детей, которые несовершеннолетние, а также неупотребление наркотиков, алкоголя и применение ношения оружия во время нахождения под залогом.
Okay. Good luck to everyone.
Всего хорошего всем. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. You all have a good afternoon.
You too, Your Honor. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next, we have position number 9, Mr. Denoris Murray.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Murray. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Murray, you've been charged in case 23 CR 005602C with theft by receiving stolen property. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
It's his second arrest. Last was 2021, possession of marijuana. Appears to be open. He's wanted out of DeKalb County for robbery.
Okay. Mr. Pierre Thomas.
Your Honor, the facts of this case is that he was found to be in possession of a Segway 9-bot, NINEBOT E22. The indicia, as you know, for this charge, he needs to show that he knew or should have known that the item was stolen. The indicia for that is that he said that he purchased this Segway for $20. The victim in this case is Kang Ping, KANGPING, Hugh, HU. I don't believe that the incident location is the location that it was stolen, but we'd be asking for a no contact with the victim in this case. The request based on the criminal history, based on the open cases, the request from the state at this time is a $2,000 good bond, Your Honor.
Yes, Ms. Abden.
Thank you, Your Honor. My client is 21 years old. He was born in Georgia, has lived here his whole life. He has his GED, and he currently has a clothing line. He sells his designs online, and he also just got a job at FedEx working in the warehouse. He's supposed to start Thursday or Friday, so his future income and earnings are a concern, and I'm asking Your Honor to take that into consideration when setting bond today. He does deny the allegations. Without going too much into the facts, he is 21 years old. He, as you've heard, he did purchase this for $20. He tells me that he did not know the value, and he didn't know the people who came up to him. And he's, for that reason, denying these allegations. I'm requesting that Your Honor consider a signature bond for my client, and if you are not inclined, a reasonable bond at $250, because that's all he can afford at this time.
And he has a hold out of DeKalb County. Is that what you said, Mr. Pierre Thomas?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to release him to that hold, a $5,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with Mr. Hugh. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck to you, Mr. Murray.
Next, we have position number 10, Mr. Oshinowo.
Good afternoon, Mr. Oshinowo. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? Thank you. You have been charged in case 23 CR 005619J with battery, family violence, and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. It's my understanding from pretrial that this is Mr. Oshinowo's first arrest. Let's see, Mr. Pierre Thomas.
Yeah, the facts of this case is that an arrest call was made to the location of 10950 Glenhurst Pass in Johns Creek, Georgia, in Fulton County, Georgia, zip code 30097. While their officers had an opportunity to speak with the victim, who advised that he and the defendant are brothers, he arrived at the brother's home that he shares with the mother that they have together. An argument happened where the defendant charged at the victim and punched him in the face. He continued to do so until the victim was eventually able to get away. The incident happened in front of a 17-year-old child, the daughter of the defendant. The defendant then followed the victim outside, threatening to shoot him, saying exactly, "I have a gun and I will kill you." The defendant himself admitted to being the only one who threw a punch and admitted to getting on top of the victim at the point that the victim fell on the ground and continuing to punch the victim while he was on the ground in the face. The minor child, the daughter of the defendant told the officers that her father lunged and struck first, and that the victim, I'm assuming her uncle, I'm sorry, was backing away. Officers were able to observe the victim's swollen eye, left eye being swollen shut, a busted lip, and facial bleeding, Your Honor. Given the facts of the case, we will not be asking for a stay away for obvious reasons, but we'll be asking for a no contact. We'd also be asking for at least one anger management course to be ordered by Your Honor. And we'd like a $3,000 surety bond in the case, Your Honor. Nothing further to add from the state. And let me put the victim's name, I'm sorry, on the record. The victim's name is Ademola, last name Oshinowo. And for obvious reasons, it's in the accusation, but I will not be, I do not seek to put the minor child's name, the other victim for the cruelty to children, and the third's name on the record. Nothing further to add from the state, Your Honor.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 45 years old and he was born in Nigeria, and he has been U.S. citizen for last 10 years here in Georgia. Your Honor, he is gainfully employed at Intuitive Inc. that builds, robotic things, and he's a supervisor there. And he graduated from the Cambridge University in Boston. He has bachelor's degree and master's degree for quality management major. Your Honor, he has no objection to no further contact with his brother until this case is resolved. And we would like to request for a signature on bond. This is his first ever arrests. Thanks.
For the battery, it's gonna be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial. For the cruelty, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial, makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. 1 day anger awareness, no further contact with the alleged victim, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Welcome. Good luck to you, sir.
Your Honor, the cruelty to children, the minor is actually a victim in this case, and he resides with this minor, and the mother is not actually in the life, so he is the sole custody. So I was wondering if he can have a no further violent contact with a minor.
You're fine, Ms. Kim. No further violent contact with the minor child, who's, my understanding, is 17 years old. Is that right?
I believe he was
7-year-old.
7 years old. Okay. All right. No further violent contact.
Also, can I ask a question, please? Can we have a restriction of the victim? Can he not come to my house at all? I don't want him in my house at all.
I can't put a restriction on someone that's not before us, sir. But you're not to have any contact with him, and because is the location your house?
Yes.
And he does
It's
not
also
stay
the
there?
mother's house.
No, mom, my mother lives with me. She lives in my basement.
Okay, Mr. Oshinowo, please give me a call back and we can discuss this later. I think you have a bond.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 13, Mr. Rico Riley.
How you doing, Your Honor?
I'm doing well, Mr. Riley. Good afternoon. This is the state court expedited. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're doing by video. Is that okay with you?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Riley, you've been charged in case 23 CR 005607C with simple battery, family violence, and willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
12 total. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Last arrest was June 2022, battery DV, 2 counts of cruelty in the third. That's open in DeKalb County. He got open disorderly conduct, simple battery, family violence. Another 2 counts of battery, family violence out of DeKalb. 2018 obstruction conviction, 2017 probation violation, 2013 and 15 failure to appear in 2012 obstruction conviction. That's it.
Thank you. Mr.
Yeah,
Pierre.
brief facts of the case. Officers responded to a dispute call at the location of 1177 Constitution Road, Southeast Atlanta, Georgia, here in Fulton County, Georgia, 30315. The victim advised that her and the defendant were arguing over his drinking and going in and out of the house. Things became physical and the defendant punched her in the forehead and pushed her against the wall. Officers arrived and defendant was actually asleep at the time without clothing on. Defendant then asked officers to could he put clothing on, to which officers obviously agreed. However, while he was supposed to be putting clothing on, he jumped out of the second floor window and ran into the wooded area with no clothes on. I guess the officers were not able to get in contact with, were not able to gain pursuit of him at that time. I just want to kind of lead the court back to his criminal history just to synthesize things. He has those 2 open battery family violence separate cases in DeKalb County currently. They also have components of also have components of cruelty to children in the third. He has at least two failure to appears on separate cases, cycles 4 and cycle 6. He has a probation violation, and he has a conviction for willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer as it relates to the provision that we'll be asking later on. He has a DUI conviction as well, and another conviction for willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. So for those reasons, Your Honor, the state will be requesting a $2,500 surety bond on the simple battery, a $500 surety bond on the willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, that the judge put the provision of no alcohol and no drugs while out on bond, no contact with the victim. The victim, that name is Vontrilla, Vontrilla, Hampton, traditional spelling, Hampton. A stay away from the incident location that was previously stated. And if the court is so inclined, either a family violence intervention program or an anger management course, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe my client has no objection about no further contact and stay away. Indeed, ever since July 12, he actually moved out of that 1177 Constitution Road, Southeast Apartment 2. He was homeless, and then his grandmother, who was kind enough to take him back to her place, because of her 12 years old daughter who has to go to school. And Your Honor, he has a sole custody over a 12 years old daughter, that he got the job, he's gainfully employed, newly employed. He does not want to lose this job. And he has been turning around his life and becoming a really good, productive father. He is a manager at Taco Bell, and so he's not going to be qualified for public defender's services, and yet he does not have very much funds to spare. So we would like to request for maximum $1,000 good bond, $500 each, so that way he can get out of the jail and take care of 12 years old daughter and save up the money for them to have their own place. Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, if possible, prior to making the ruling, if we could sound for the victim, please.
Ms. Vontrilla Hampton is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Doesn't appear so, Mr. Pierre Thomas. For the simple battery, family violence, a $1,500 good bond. For the obstruction, a $500 good bond, makes for a total of a $2,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Hampton. Stay away from the Constitution Road address, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Thanks, Your Honor. Mr. Riley, please feel free to call me. I'll be glad to explain to you. You have a right to remain silent.
All right. Well, did you tell him about my birth?
Stay silent. Thank you.
Good luck to you, Mr. Riley.
Okay.
Thank you, dear. Next, we have position number 14, Mr. Antonio Smith.
Good afternoon, Mr. Smith. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Smith, you've been charged in case 23 CR 005605F with simple battery, family violence, and battery, family violence. History, Mr. Howard?
Antonio Smith, 11 total. Last was 2016, simple battery, family violence. 2008, disorderly conduct, NOLA. That's it.
Yes, Ms. Riddick.
Your Honor, this incident is alleged to have occurred on December 23rd, 2022, at the location of 925 Conley Road Southwest, apartment G4 in Atlanta. Officers were called to the location. When they arrived, they made contact with a Miss Courtney, Courtney Pressley, Pressley. Ms. Pressley advised that her and her child's father, the defendant, got into an altercation. He punched her in the mouth and scratched her in the face after an argument. She further advised that the defendant had been upset with her about him believing she had damaged his car the week earlier. While Ms. Courtney Pressley was involved in this altercation with the defendant, her younger minor child, KP, attempted to stop the fight between the defendant and his mother, at which time the defendant punched the minor child, KP, in the right eye. The defendant then fled the location. Officers noted a scratch on Ms. Presley's eye, did not note any visible injuries on the minor child, KP. The defendant was positively identified by Ms. Presley through a photo of the driver's license. Your Honor, and when we're done, if you would sound for the victim, that would be appreciated. Based on information, we are asking on behalf of Mr. Antonio Smith that he be told to stay away from the incident location, no further contact with Ms. Presley or the minor child, KP, no guns, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond, an anger management course. On the simple battery, family violence involving the minor child, we will be asking for a $7,500 bond. On the battery, family violence involving the adult Ms. Courtney Pressley, we would be asking for a $5,000 bond.
Yes, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 49 years old and he has no objection about no further contact with both mother and the child, minor KP, and he is absolutely okay with the stay away as well. This incident happened more than 9 months ago. Actually, he denies the allegation. He says he didn't touch KP. Your Honor, they live separately and they have a 3-year-old child who is a boy. So we would like to request for a third-party transfer for that particular boy. So that way my client can have a relationship with his son. He is gainfully employed at Atlanta Public School as a school bus driver. He's been doing that for the last 8 years, continuously, consistently, after graduating from high school. He does have a little bit of medical condition that he has to take some medicine. So we would like to request for a signature on bond so he can get out of the jail and take care of his minor children and his medical needs. But if Your Honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond because of the last incident that happened more than 7 years ago, we would like to request for maximum $1,000 good bond, $500 each. Thank you.
Your Honor, Ms. Courtney.
I'm about to do that, Ms. Riddick. Thank you. Ms. Presley, if you're on the line, and I believe that you are, you wish to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Okay, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can put your hand down, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court?
I don't know if he's scared. I don't know what's going on with him, but we stayed together. We have a 3-year-old child. We haven't been fighting. And the accident that happened, it just happened out the moment. We don't fight. We don't even argue, really. He didn't hit my son. I told the officer that. The officer called me and was like, what's going on with y'all? I told him that we good, nothing is going on. It just, we had company at the house and the car was messed up and we both was frustrated. So, you know, couples do argue sometimes. And my son got in the way of me pulling on Tony because he was trying to leave to go to work. He was going on the job and I was getting mad at him. I didn't want him to leave. And my son got hit by me. Tony didn't hit my son. And I told the police that. And I think the police got mad because his daughter was over there. She was talking. So, you know, it was too much talking going on. So the officer, she decided to write what she wanted to write down. He did not scratch up my face. My face got scratched, but I probably did because I was the aggressive one. Tony, he was trying to get away from me. He was, and I was doing all the crazy stuff, but the police did get called and I talked to the police and it went on from there. And then I got a call in March. This happened in December. They called me in March asking me, do I know a picture of Tony? I was like, yes, I know him. I was like, that's my child's father. And he was like, well, how is everything going? And I was like, everything is going good. Tony helped me a lot. I'm losing my eyesight. I have health problems too, heart conditions, and I'm going blind. And he helped me out a lot with that. And he helped with the other children, and as well as his 3-year-old. And he's not a bad person. So it just got mixed up.
So you all have been living together since December of last year, since this
We've been
allegedly
living
happened?
together for
Okay.
3 years. Yes.
Okay, and this has not ever happened before?
No.
Okay, and since the time of this, it hasn't happened since?
No, no, sir. No.
And do you want him back in the household?
I want him back at home with me and his child. Yes, I do.
Okay, and are you afraid of him?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not afraid of him. No.
Okay, anything else you want to tell me, Ms. Presley?
I need him home with his children, and he need to be home so he can keep his job.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Presley. I appreciate you being here this afternoon.
All right, thank you.
Ms. Riddick, Ms. Kim, anything further?
Nothing else from the state, Your Honor.
Okay, for the simple battery, it's going to be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge. For the battery, a $1,500 signature bond through pretrial per the judge. Makes for a total of a $2,500 signature bond through pretrial per the judge. 1-day anger awareness. No further violent contact with Ms. Presley or KP, the minor child. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Welcome.
Case number 16, Mr. Smith.
And this is Mr. Eric Smith. Good afternoon, Mr. Smith. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Your Honor, this is Gregory Smith.
1-6, Mr. Gregory Smith.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right.
Gregory Smith, do you agree to have your case heard by video this afternoon?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Smith, you've been charged in case 23 CR 005615Y with reckless driving, fleeing or attempting to elude a police officer, and theft by taking and criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
11 total. Last arrest was back in January for battery. That appears to be open out of Clayton County. Got a fleeing or attempting to elude an officer driving without a valid license out of Rabun County. 2022 entering auto first offender. 2019, 2021 trespass. 2019 entering auto fade to appear, and a 2018 fade to appear.
Ms. Riddick.
Your Honor, this incident is alleged to have occurred on March 10th, 2023. Incident location is 308 Crest Ridge Drive in East Point, Georgia. The common name is The Elevation, traditional spelling, apartments. Upon arrival, officers knocked on the apartment door. They didn't receive a response as they were leaving the location. They were approached by victim, Miss Michaela Ravello, Makayla.
Hold on, Ms. Reddick, I'm a bit confused. I want to, this is Mr. Position 16, Mr. Gregory Smith that we're doing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, and reckless driving, fleeing or attempted to elude, theft by take. Okay, all right, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ms. Reddick.
They were approached by Miss Michaela, last name Ravello, Ravelo. She is on the line, Your Honor. She advised that her boyfriend, Gregory Smith, became upset with her because he had stayed out all night cheating on her, and she told him to leave. He snatched her iPhone worth less than $1,500 and ran out the door. When leaving the location, he caused damage to the front window of Miss Ravello's apartment. She pursued him out of the apartment, jumped into the vehicle, attempting to get her phone back. While they were in the vehicle riding, they reached the city of Atlanta, at which point she was pulled outside of the vehicle by the defendant. He left her on the side of the road. Miss Ravello got a ride back to the apartment complex. Later that evening, Corporal Best received a phone call from the apartment complex advising that the defendant had in fact returned. When Corporal Best attempted to approach the defendant, he began fleeing at a high rate in his Chevy Malibu, going down North Commerce Road and then turning on to Camp Creek Parkway. At that point, once he turned onto Camp Creek Parkway into oncoming traffic, Corporal Best stopped pursuit of the defendant. So, Your Honor, in light of these facts, we're asking that the defendant be required to stay away from the incident location and the entire apartment complex. He does not reside there. We're asking that he has no further contact with Miss Michaela Ravello. We are asking that he not have any drugs, guns, or weapons while out on bond. We also requesting that he does an anger management course. On the reckless driving, Your Honor, we're asking for a $2,500 good bond. On the fleeing or attempting to elude, we're asking for a $2,500 good bond. On the criminal trespass, damage to property, we're asking for a $1,500 good bond.
So is it, my calendar says theft by taking and criminal trespass. Is it criminal trespass and damage to property, one charge, or is it two charges?
It should be just one charge, Your Honor.
So
and it should be the theft by taking. I apologize, Your Honor. It should be the theft by taking, I believe.
So no criminal trespass?
Yeah, Your Honor, we have reckless driving, fleeing into a little police officer, theft by taking, 2 counts of criminal trespass, and obstruction of law enforcement.
I didn't see all of those, Your Honor.
I only have 4 charges.
Yeah.
Reckless driving, fleeing, or attempted to elude, theft by taking, and criminal trespass. Is that the correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So what do we need to do in order to make sure that he's not held on, that he only has these 4 charges?
So what they need to do to make sure he only has 4 charges. This one says reckless driving, fleeing, or attempting to elude police officer, theft by taking, criminal trespass. He has 2 counts of criminal trespass and an obstruction of law enforcement.
Your Honor, those other ones, I believe 2 of them is he has to go to state court. I was talking to him about that earlier. One of the criminal trespasses and obstruction of law enforcement, the Leo. I believe he has to go to state court for those. All right.
This is state court.
They may, what he's saying, it may be associated with different cases.
SAP
Oh.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh.
Oh, those are 21 CR 00284.
But he wants to know if you can actually handle those today, though.
Yes, because I was incarcerated at the time. Your Honor, I'm sorry. I was incarcerated at the time, and they saying like I was, being appeared to at court, and everything go to my mom's house, her cell phone, and everything.
Okay, hold on a second, Mr. Smith. Let's see. Mr. Jordan, are you there? Or Ms. Bridgewater?
I'm here, Judge.
is he scheduled for an SAP calendar for other charges at some point in the near future?
What case are you on, Judge? I was looking up something. Just want to see if somebody called that.
Position
is that you-
16.
Position 16, Mr. Smith, we have 4 counts on this calendar, but apparently he has 2 other counts, another one for criminal trespass and another one for obstruction that may be on an upcoming SAP calendar.
It's 21
Just
R
looking at it.
0022841.
So he has a bench warrant arrest. It'll go on the same calendar that this case is reset to. Did he get a signature bond or good bond?
He hadn't gotten a bond yet. We haven't gotten that far.
So if he gets a good bond.
We're still trying to figure out what charges he's gonna get a bond for today.
So reckless driving. I'm sorry. Reckless driving, fleeing or attempting to elude, theft by taking, and criminal trespass are all on the case that's on today's calendar with an incident date of 9/18/2023.
Okay.
And then he has a bench warrant arrest for a criminal trespass with the incident date of 3/4/2020. And the obstruction charge is a bench warrant arrest with the incident date of 3/4/2020.
Okay, and those bench warrants, are they already on a calendar?
They haven't been scheduled yet. This is the new arrest, so he just got
Okay.
arrested on these charges. So it will be placed on the same calendar with the new case. And if he gets a signature bond on the case today, then that bench warrant case will go on next Tuesday's calendar.
Okay, all right. So with that said, Ms. Riddick,
Ms. Ravello is online and would like to be heard.
I will hear from her, but at this point, you gave me 3 recommendations. for-
$1,500 on the remaining count, Your Honor, the criminal trespass.
Okay, so 1,500 for the criminal trespass and 1,500 for the theft by taking?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. I'll get to you, Ms. Kim. Let me go to Ms. Ravello. Ms. Ravello, good afternoon. If you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. If you can raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can put your hand down. What would you like to tell me, ma'am?
I think the whole situation was just like based out of emotions. I think I overreacted with calling the police with something that could, within the household. Later on that day, I did get my phone back, and the following day, he did get my window repaired, and we do live together. So prior to this and after, like moving forward, the situation, there's never been any more problems or any problems before.
Okay, so you're not afraid of him?
No.
And you want him to come back into the household?
Yes, this is where he lives. He pays the bills here.
Regardless of that, you want him back there?
Yes.
Okay, anything further, ma'am?
No, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 25 years old, Your Honor. He was born and raised here in Georgia. And I believe his mother, Lakeisha Huntley, is here as well to support. He does have a ties to the community. He has all his family members here in Georgia. Your Honor, he has a small stand inside of the Lenox Mall. He's a vendor and he sells hair and skin products. He's been doing that with his mother for about 5 years. And he completed up to 11th grade in the high school. After that, he's been pursuing his GED. Your Honor, he's not qualified for public defender's services. However, we would like to request for a signature on bond. And if Your Honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond because of his past history, we would like to request for maximum $1,000, $250 for each charge, totaling of $1,000. Thank you.
Okay. It's gonna be $500 good bond for each charge, totaling $2,000 good bond. No further violent contact with Ms. Ravello, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you.
Good
Your
luck to
Honor.
you, Mr. Smith.
What's the bond?
A total of a $2,000 good bond, $500 for each count. Who do we have next?
Your Honor, he wants to know what's gonna happen with those other two charges.
He's going to be placed, it's my understanding, he's going to be placed on the SAP calendar on next, I believe, Tuesday it is.
Ain't no way I can go home.
You gotta stay into,
Unless Mr. Jordan is putting him on next Tuesday, he would go to the October the 3rd. That's our next available SAP from this court.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Bridgewater.
Next, we have position number 18, Mr. Felton Thomas.
Good afternoon, Mr. Thomas. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Thomas, you've been charged in case 23 CR 005620Y with possession of marijuana less than an ounce, criminal trespass, and certain acts on a bus, rail station that are prohibited. Mr. Howard, is there a history?
45 total. Last arrest was in August. Failed to appear out of DeKalb County. He appears to have 6 open cases of drinking in public, breach of peace, and another drinking in public, and a shoplifting. Giving false name, possession of drug-related objects, simple battery on martyr, trespass. He got a couple of FTAs from 2022, one from 2021, 2019 shoplifting conviction. I stopped there.
Okay. Yes, Ms. Riddick.
Your Honor, this incident is alleged to have occurred on September 18, 2023. The incident location is 2020 Lee Street Southwest. It is a MARTA facility, MARTA train station. Officers were patrolling the area of Lakewood MARTA station and observed the defendant smoking a cigar containing a green substance, suspected marijuana, and drinking a Bud Light alcohol beverage while on the platform. Upon approach, officers advised the defendant of his violation. The defendant provided his positive identification. It returned that MARTA had previously issued this defendant 2 active year-long suspensions. The first active suspension was issued February 18, 2023, with an effective date of May 9, 2023, not to end until 2024. The second suspension was issued May 17, 2023, effective August 23rd, 2023, not to end until August 2024. Your Honor, it is my understanding that the criminal trespass already has a $1,000 bond set. On a possession of marijuana, we're asking for a $500 good bond, $500 good bond. And on the possession, certain acts on a bus, rail, or train station prohibited, which would be the alcoholic beverage, we're asking for a $500 good bond.
Thank you. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Actually, I recommended him for PAD, Policing Alternative and Diversion Program initiatives. I was wondering he could be considered, and if the solicitor does not object, he has a chance to get into PAD program. So we would like to request for signature on bond. I do understand there has been a lot of drama in his life. However, he is residentially challenged, and what he needs is actually, I think a PAP might be a better option than being in the jail. He's qualified for public defender services. He graduated from high school, Your Honor, and he has a part-time job at warehouse. He's been working there for the last 5 years. He does have a sister here in Georgia. He was born here in Georgia. And besides, he is 57 years old, Your Honor. That's all, Your Honor.
Okay, so we'll recommend him for PAD, Ms. Kim. It'll for the possession of marijuana, $500 signature bond through the jail, criminal trespass, $1,000 signature bond through the jail. Certain acts on a bus rail station prohibited, $500 signature bond through the jail. Makes for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away or abide by any MARTA restrictions. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond, and PAD referral.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Right. Good luck to you, Mr. Thomas.
Your Honor, the last two we have are, I guess, breakouts. For Mr.
Okay.
For Mr. Eric Smith and Mr. Potts.
Okay.
Potts is it 12? Potts Gibson is a waiver.
Okay, thank you. So let's go into the breakout room. Who needs to be in the breakout room? Okay.
Your Honor, myself, ASG Pierre Thomas.
Me as well, Your
Both
Honor.
public defenders, Your Honor.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Jordan with us?
I just told him.
Okay.
Somebody keeps calling me, Judge. They distract me.
Okay, we're back. So, Officer Norris, for position 12, we're gonna reset him until tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, and on position 15, let's see, it's for the criminal trespass, it's $1,000 signature bond through the jail. The willful obstruction, a $500 signature bond through the jail. The certain acts, $1,000 signature bond through the jail. And the other willful obstruction, a $500 signature bond through the jail, makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. He's to stay away from MARTA, and there's going to be an MMHC.
Thank you, Mr. Eric.
Judge.
Oh, Judge Eric, we got the same name.
You're fine. You're
Man,
fine.
it's a blessing because I don't want to come back to jail. I miss my family. I love y'all too. Thank you, Miss Kim. Thank you, Miss Rachel. Thank you, Miss.
All right. Okay.
Lord bless y'all.
All right. You have a good afternoon.
Okay.
We completed here in courtroom 2, Your Honor.
All right. I'll see you next time. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, take care.
Okay. All right, Miss. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Miss Holly, go ahead.
Okay, everybody, once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is October the 3rd. Position number 1 is being reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 2 is being reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. Position 3, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. Position 4 is reset further notice with a total $4,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 5, reset further notice, $2,000 SOB through the jail. Position 6, reset further notice, $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 7 is being reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial, I believe is per judge.
Yes.
Okay, position 8 is being reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 9, reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through the jail. 10, reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 11, reset further notice with a $10,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. 12 is being reset till tomorrow. 13 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $2,000 good bond. 14 is reset further notice with a $2,500 SOB through pretrial. 15, reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through the jail. 16 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $2,000 good bond. 17 is being reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. And 18 is being reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through the jail. Any questions, comments, or otherwise?
Number 1 was per judge, 3 wasn't.
Okay, got it.
Thank you.
You
And
did tomorrow?
no, not tomorrow.
He's had enough.
2 days, that's it?
Oh, it's
We
not
had 30.
It's not the quantity, but the quality. Okay?
I need to give you an address, Miss Bridgewater, that Miss Watson Cafe gave me.
Okay.
Mr. Jordan, are you there?
We,
Or you want to email
tell me
it?
that?